Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, guys. It's Dr. Liz Jenkins here with Dr. Liz Coaching. And be ready. We're here on day 12, Inside Couples Conflict. And we're going to just start to briefly talk about identifying and then swapping your conflict style out for a better, more effective style. Okay. And it doesn't happen overnight, typically. It's a process of trial, error. But the first part is identifying which of your styles you lead into a conflict, and for your partner as well as for yourself to identify which one of the styles your partner or spouse lead into in a conflict, so that both of you are taking notes and able to start seeing how it is showing up in the moment. Because wouldn't that be wonderful if in that moment you could identify what a response was, or identify what you just said as, maybe let's say it was defensive. And in that moment, both you and your partner could identify it. And rather than run with that, we could tag it and say that was being defensive, and explaining it isn't the most effective thing here. Or just even say, hey, that was defensiveness. And you're going to be like, oh, you're right. Okay, let me back up. And so now we're actually focusing on the mechanics of it, of this conflict, instead of running with the emotional part of it. And I kind of think, remember when you were, perhaps you did, when we were learning how to drive a car. It was very mechanical, at least for me. It was, okay, got my seatbelt. How does it work? Okay, here's the key and stuff like that. And so driving wasn't automatic. Learning how to parallel park was definitely, gymnastics and mathematical equation kind of thing. And those Y turns, they weren't smooth and seamless where you could carry on a conversation while you're doing it. Really focused on nailing that skill or technique that I needed for later on for driving more effectively out on the road, which now sometimes if you get interrupted, at least for me, if I get interrupted in my process, like, what was I doing? Oh, okay. Because I'm so used to going on autopilot. And that's what happens in conflicts. We show up and we are on autopilot. We aren't even necessarily paying attention to the details. We just show up and we drive through that conflict. So I'd love for both of you to be able to, one, jot down the styles that you think. Okay, remember there's criticism, defensiveness, explaining, contempt or disregard. There's the fire people that are fast escalators, and there's the ice people that get frozen and overwhelmed and shut down. Start writing down the list of ones that you think you lead with or they lead with. And if you can, let's start linking up some triggers, some situations that might do it. And so I'm going to briefly talk about what we're going to swap them out with. And then starting tomorrow, we're going to go in more in depth with each one of those styles. But if we were back in driver's ed, so we're in conflict ed right now, we would be switching criticism or judgment with turning it into a complaint. Okay. And so rather than critique them, we're going to be learning how to explain what it does for you, to you, when this thing happens. And so it's a complaint. It's about you, and you own that. If we're leading in with defensiveness or explaining, we're going to learn how to shift it over to acknowledging your partner or your spouse's feelings. All right. Get their emotions matched up with yours and then validate them. If we are leading with contempt and that nonverbal, we're going to have techniques and strategies to tag and identify that situation, that eye rolling, that whatever, that non-spoken thing, or identify and tag, hey, the pace is going up or the volume's going up, right? So again, it's almost like in the car we're driving and someone says, hey, do you know what the speed limit is? Like, yeah, it's 65. Well, you happen to go in 70. Oh, and you back it back down. Okay. So we're identifying and tagging. No blaming, just asking, hey, do you know what the speed limit is here? And it's this. Well, you're going here. And then you can see that you're over the limit, and then maybe over the tone or the pace or the eye rolling. Okay. If we're leading in before, if we're a fire person or a fast escalator, then we're going to start learning how to identify before, but even in the moment, some calming strategies with planned timeouts, breaks, and things. If we lead with the ice or the flooded type of person, well, again, because we're gonna have to change our physiology. So both the fire and the ice folks, we're gonna be learning similar techniques about identifying that it's happening. How do we start slowing it down? How do we regulate and get our physiology better, in a better place, so we can listen with some timeouts, with some breaks, with a plan to return to come back to the conversation. Okay, so some of your homework, do some of your homework tomorrow. We're going to lead off with the first of criticism and judgment, and I'm going to explain more about what we swap it out with. Okay. So take care. I will talk to you later. I appreciate all of your questions and DMs. So continue to DM me or reach out to me in the Connected Couple, my private Facebook group. Take care. Bye bye.